friends at home. So today we're doing lesson 21 homework. So this is a really important skill, solving two-step problems, and then also using multiplying by multiples of 10. So two really important skills. So we did some of the problem set. We're also going to be doing some of the homework. All right. So I'm going to do number 1 and number 2 with you. I'm going to ask you to do number 3 independently. So your teacher can look at it and see how you're doing on this scale independently. And then we're going to do number 4 together because number 4 is actually a 3-step problem. So let's go ahead and get started. Number 1 says there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. That sounds like some important information, so let's underline that. 60 minutes in 1 hour. Use a tape diagram, so we have to use a tape diagram, to find the total number of minutes in 6 hours and 15 minutes. All right? So I know that I have 6 hours, and I know there's 60 minutes in 1 hour, and I have to draw a tape diagram. So how can I show 6 hours in a tape diagram? Well, why don't we draw 6 units? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have my 6 units. What do those 6 units represent? They represent my 6 hours. So I'm going to put a bracket underneath here and actually write 6 hours. Okay, remember I'm trying to find the total number of minutes. So if each one of these is an hour, they each have 60 minutes, or they're each made of 60 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and put 60 minutes in each one of those hours. And now I got to stop and think, what number sentence can I write? Because before I can figure out the total number of minutes, I need to find out how many minutes are in these 6 hours. Well, when I look at this, I see 6 equal groups of 60. What number sentence do I write for that? I would write 6 times 60, or 6 equal groups of 60. And then, because I'm multiplying by a multiple of 10, I want to find my hidden fact. And so the hidden fact I see in here is 6 times 6. Always a good idea to underline that. And I know 6 times 6 is 36, but if you don't know, you can do your skip counting. So 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36. So 6 times 6 is 36. And then I add a 0, so to make 360, because I'm really multiplying 6 times 60, okay, or 6 times. So that's 360 minutes. But then we know that there's an additional 15 minutes. So I'm going to draw another unit here, and in this one I'll put 15. And in order to get the total, I would add those. So it's 360 plus 15. So our next number sentence is exactly that. I would take 360 plus 15, and I'm supposed to use a letter for the solution. You have to read those directions, letter for the solution. So we're trying to find the total number of minutes. So how about we use M? 360 plus 15 equals M, and I need to add those. If you can't do it mentally, come over to this side and put your algorithm. Remember to put the ones under the ones and the tens under the tens. So that's how your algorithm looks, and then when you add, 0 plus 5 is 5, 6 plus 1 is 7, and our hundreds is 300. So M equals 375. And that represents 375 minutes. The last thing we need is we need our target sentence RTS. So what is the total number of minutes? We're going to write the total number of minutes is 375. Okay? And there's our first problem. Easy peasy, huh? All right, let's move on to the next one. It says Ms. Lemus buys 7 boxes of snacks. So I can already picture 7 boxes. I know somewhere in my picture I'm going to be drawing 7 boxes. Each box has 12 packets of fruit snacks and 18 packets of cashews. So I've got a box, and in it there's 12 packets of fruit snacks and 18 packets of cashews. I don't know about you, but this is making me hungry. How many snack packets did she buy all together? All right, so I have my 7 boxes, but I'm wondering how many snack packets are in each box. I know each box has 12 packets of fruit snacks and 18 packets of cashews. To me, that sounds like part whole. Fruit snacks, cashews, both go in the same box. So the best way to represent part whole is a number bond, okay? And one part will be the fruit snacks, and the other part will be the cashews. and then we'll have our total. Make sure you label your parts because it's helpful to know what each number represents. So there are 12 fruit snacks, packets of fruit snacks, and there are 18 packets of cashews. I got those from my notes. And now I have to figure out what the total is. So a number sentence for this would be, well, I'm going to let you think about it for a minute. Okay, when I have two parts and I'm trying to get the whole, I add my two parts. So it'd be 12 plus 18. And if you need to do the algorithm, you can do that over here, but you do need your number sentence. And hopefully if you added 12 plus 18, you got 30. Some of you may have been able to do that mentally. So again, what does 30 represent? It represents all of the snack packets in one box, okay? Because some of the box contains fruit, some of the packets are fruit, some of them are cashew. All together, each box will have 30. Kind of almost look at the label. It contains 30 packets. 12 are fruit packets and 18 are cashew packets, okay? But we need to know the total packets of snacks she buys altogether if she buys 7 boxes. So what am I going to draw? I'm going to draw 7 boxes because that's easy for me to picture in my head. I got 4 boxes, 5 boxes, 6 boxes, 7 boxes. So there's my 7 boxes of fruit snacks, just like the problem says I have. And I know in each box there is 30 fruit snacks made up of 12 fruit or 30 snacks made up of 12 fruit snacks and 18 cashews. So I'm going to put a 30 inside each one of those. And now, when I look at this, I see equal groups. Matter of fact, I see 7 equal groups of 30. So the number sentence I would write for this would be 7 equal groups of 30, or 7 times 30. Okay? And they do want us to use a letter for the unknown, and we're trying to find the number of packets. So how about we use P? 7 times 30 equals P for packets. And then when I'm multiplying by multiples of 10, I look for my hidden fact. The hidden fact in this number sentence is, hopefully you saw the 7 times 3. So I'm going to underline the 7 times 3. And I can skip count by 7 3 times, or I can skip count by 3 7 times. Well, and maybe some of you just know your 3's facts or your 7's facts. I like the 7 song, so I'm going to do 7, 14, 21. So 7 times 3 is 21. And then I add my 0. So P equals 200. So what does 200 represent? It represents all of the packets in those 7 boxes. So I need a TS. How many snack packets did she buy altogether? TS. She bought 210 snack packets altogether. And that's our second problem. Make sure when you submit this to your teacher, for each one, you're drawing your picture, you're writing your number sentences. You probably need 2 pictures for each one. You also have a target sentence. And make sure you're using, like we did, a letter for your unknown. Okay? Here we used M for minutes. Here we use P for packets. Okay, if you give me a second, I'm going to go back and I'm going to move our paper up. Number 3 you're going to do independently. But I guess I thought I would read through it and see. I always like to say, what am I wondering about when I read the problem? So we'll do that quickly. Okay, number 3 says, Tamara wants to buy a tablet that costs $437. She wants to buy a tablet that costs $437. She saves $50 a month for 9 months, so there's $50 a month for 9 months. Does she have enough money to buy the tablet? Explain why or why not. This sounds very similar to the problem we did on the problem set where somebody wanted to buy art supplies, all right? So what I'm wondering, when I look at this, the tablet costs $437. We have to determine if she has enough money. I don't know about you, but I'm wondering, well, how much money does she have? I know she saved $50 a month for 9 months. Maybe she put $50 a month in the bank or in her bank at home. But how much money is that? So that's going to be your first step. So make sure you draw a picture and write a number sentence. And then make sure you explain, does she have enough money to buy the tablet? Either yes, she does, because, or no, she does not, because. Okay? I'll let you do that one independently. And now we're going to go do number 4, which is actually, wow, a 3-step problem. Okay? Okay, boys and girls, thanks for bearing with me. We have Mr. Ramirez receives 4 sets of books. So let's underline that. We have 4 sets of books. Each set has 15 fiction books and 14 nonfiction books. So each set has 16 fiction books and 14 nonfiction books. And what else do we know? He puts 97 books in his library and donates the rest of the books. Our unknown is how many books does he donate? Well, before we figure out how many books he donates, we have to figure out how many books he receives. I know he has 4 sets, so I could draw 4 sets, but I don't know how many books are in each set. That's another thing I'm wondering about. If each set has 16 fiction books and 14 nonfiction books, I'm kind of wondering how many books are in one set. So, 16 fiction, 14 nonfiction. Remember, fiction are like Charlotte's Web, James and the Giant Peach, Magic Tree House. Nonfiction would be books about snakes or history or the land, geography, anything you're interested in that needs facts. So if each set has 16 fiction and 14 nonfiction, that would be part whole, wouldn't it? So let's draw a number bond. And we're going to show what comes in one set of books. So we have fiction books and we have nonfiction. So I'm going to write F for fiction and F for nonfiction. We're going to use our knowns. 16 represents the fiction book, so I can come and put that in my number bond here. 14 represents the nonfiction book, so I can put that in my number bond here. And then I need a number sentence to figure out the total number of books in one set. I'm even going to write here, one set of books. Okay, if you look at this number bond, you should be able to come up with a number sentence for it. Part whole. Okay, if you said the number sentence is 16 plus 14, you are correct. Maybe some of you can do that mentally. The way I would do it is I would say 10 plus 10 is 20, 6 plus 4 is 10, so I have 20 plus 10 more, which is 30. You could also, in the margin of your paper, do your algorithm, add your ones, and then add your 10s to get 30. So in one set of books, there are 30 books. But he actually has 4 sets of books. So we got to figure out how many books he received if he got 4 sets. The easiest way to draw that would probably be, I'm just going to draw 4 circles. You could do a tape diagram with 4 units. Inside each one of those sets of books, I'm going to put 30 books. Okay, so this is our second step. So when I look at this, there's 4 sets of books. Each one has 30 books in it. Think about what number sentence you would write to find that total. So hopefully the number sentence you came up with was 4 times 30, because we have 4 equal groups of 30. All right, and then we have to find our hidden fact because we're multiplying by a multiple of 10. The hidden fact I see is 4 times 3. Do you know that? You have your answer. 4 times 3 is 12. And then we add a 0 because we're multiplying by 30, not just 3. So what does 120 represent? It represents the total of the 4 sets. You could also skip count 30, 60, 90, 120. Okay? So he has 120 books, but he doesn't keep all the books in his library. He donates some. So we're going to take this 120, and now we're going to break it down back into 2 parts again. Okay? And the 2 parts will be what he keeps in his library and what he donates. So K for keeps and D for donates. Okay? He puts 97 books in his library, so let's put that here. We don't know what he donates, so that's our unknown. We do know that his total number of books is 120. So there's your last picture. Wow, 3 steps. Finding the number of books in a set, finding the total books in 4 sets, and now taking his total books and splitting it into what he keeps and what he donates. So if you look at that number bond, there's another number sentence we need to write. What number sentence would you write for this? You have the whole and you have one part. Hopefully, you're thinking 120 minus 97 equals B. All right? And then B equals. Now that's a little bit tricky to get that answer. Maybe you can do it mentally, maybe you can't. So if you can't, just come over to the margin of your paper and do your algorithm. Make sure you line your numbers up according to place value. The ones are to the ones. Whoops, that should be 97. Sorry, boys and girls. Okay, so now I have to subtract the ones. 0 minus 7, I can't do it, so I have to unbundle. I'll come over here and I'll unbundle one of those 10s, which will leave me with just 1. But the good news is now I have 10 ones. 10 minus 7 is 3. Now I'm going to go to the tens place. 1 minus 9, I can't do that, so I'm going to unbundle. I'll come over to the hundreds. If I unbundle that 100, I'll be left with none. But the good news is instead of 1 10, I have 11 tens. 11 minus 9 is 2, and we have no hundreds left. So D equals 23. And remember, what does D represent? Represents the books he donates. So we answered this question with our target sentence. How many books does he donate? TS, he donates 23 books. Okay, now before I leave you, I just want to show you, because I love using the number line to subtract, I'm going to show you how we could have done this without the algorithm. So if you want to show 120 minus 97 on the number line, here's our number line. We're finding the difference between 120 and 97. We're going to put 97 at this side of the number line because it's my small number, and 120 over here because it's my bigger number. And then I'm finding the difference between 97 and 120. So first, I want to get to a friendly number. So 97 is so close to 100, I'm going to add 3. And if I add 3 to 97, I'm at 100. Now I'm at 100 and I got to get to 120. Well, what can I add to 100 to get to 120? That's right, I can add 20. And now what were my total jumps to get from 97 to 120? My total jumps were 20 plus 3, which is 23. So there's another way for you to find the answer without using the algorithm. I personally love this. It's kind of like doing a puzzle. All right, boys and girls, 3-step problem. But guess what? We did it. We did a nice job. So thank you so much. Remember to show your work for all 4 problems and show us what you got on number 3, which you will be doing independently. Remember, underline your knowns, draw pictures, write number sentences, use a letter for your unknown, and write a target sentence. Okay? Thank you so much.